Did I do it right? I hope I did. Check myself on the YouTubes. Make sure I did it right. I don't think it's working. This is in stream. Oh, 3 viewers. Okay, so something's working. It's not working on my end though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's working. Okay. What's up, Elijah? Hey, Dizzle. What's up, man? Nice shirt. Oh, thanks. Hey, where your baby? Yo. I know. Well, that's what I said. I said they should have never put that wheel on the dirt bike, but they did anyway. They did what? Really? They ate all the cupcakes at the board meeting too? And then they drink all the apple cider? These stories you have are wild. What's up, DMG? You got some shirts similar to this? Word. So the weird part about like dynamics with like parenting, right, is that like his mom is she's an absolutely amazing mom. Like, just like I couldn't ask for a better mother. But this is where the dynamics kind of clash, right? Is because she's the type who's like always cleaning the dishes, or she's always cleaning something, or his mom is the type of person who's always busy. Like she's like my dad. You alright, bro? Okay. Like her and my dad are very much alike. Both of them get up early. Both of them are the types they have to leave the house at least 5 times a day type of shit, right? Thank you, baby. And they're both like busybodies, whereas I'm not. Like, I'd rather just concentrate like one punch instead of throw 150 punches, right? And just do a job one punch. I'm not getting ready to, like, they're like busybody. Like they don't feel complete unless they get up and move and do shit, right? Which is cool, right? Especially as another parent. So his mom is like that. His mom's a busybody, which is great. She gets up early. She'll do anything in the middle of the night, anything, right? She doesn't care. She gets up and takes him out to the park, takes him on walks, takes him in the middle of some nature place, some forest or something. Hang on, baby. Oh, okay. He's at the window. So so she'll do it. But here's where it kind of clashes, right? Because I'm not that type of person. I never was that type of person. Like, I have no problem with staying in bed like all day, or just staying in like a room all day, as long as I have a book or a TV or internet or something like that. Dude, I actually made a really good friend. I actually made a really good friend because we had this exercise while I was in university, and they said and my answer to it was I'd be okay as long as I just had a beer, a chair, and a wall to stare at. I'll figure something out. And it was true. Like, I'm just a real, like, concise person in real life, right? Like, in real, not talking like on YouTube, but like in everyday life, I'm a very concise person. Not a lot of bullshit. If I do bullshit, it's just to make socially acceptable shit kind of thing, just to get through something faster. But yeah, but his mom is the opposite. His mom's like aware of social cues and do anything for social shit to make sure it fits, and she's the complete opposite of me. But where the clash comes in is, like, for example, like, okay, like when it's just me and him, like he it's like, so what ended up happening is he's not at peace until I'm doing something, right? Like, if I just sit in the bed and just like look at my phone, or if I just like if I just sit down and appearingly do nothing, then he's like not at peace at all. Like, he's walking around going crying, and he's frustrated because I'm not moving, right? So this is like the best he'll be is when he'll see me like doing something, Now he'll fuck around and fall asleep like this. Right now, I'm like focused on something. He'll like he goes off and he's going off minding his own business, doing his own thing, and but like that's coming from him being around his mom. His mom is always doing something, so it puts him at peace. And I think me not moving, not always running, I'm outside to the park in here. I'm not always running all the time. It makes him uncomfortable. Yeah. Thank you, baby. You alright? Yeah. Thank you. Now, are you a great father? I don't know. I try not to worry about being a great father. What I think about is just making sure everybody's fed, clothed, bathed, and warm. Huh? All I care about is everybody has clothes, food, warmth, and shelter. And that's about it. I don't like that being told you're a great dad and all that. That means absolutely. That's a buddy of mine. Absolutely means nothing. Here, baby. Okay, you don't want nothing to eat. So yeah, so the thing, like, so his moods changed. If it's baby food, he quit feeding himself with baby food because he doesn't really like to eat it for real. So I give him like if I make him like a tortilla, he'll eat it himself like a sandwich. But if it's baby food, he quit eating baby food. So I got a lot of baby food, right? So I won't throw it away. So with a little bit that I can't give away, I just try to feed him. You know, like I have to. He'll eat it if I feed it to him, but he won't sit there and eat it himself. He just kind of grew out of it. But you see him in there on the bed, yeah. Years ago on YouTube, 80 didn't have a child, but now, yeah. Oh, baby. Yeah, he wasn't. Here's his tortilla on the floor, half eaten. He prefers it on the floor. Here, baby. Why do baby food taste so good? So here's the thing. Like with baby food, what I found out was like the fruit stuff is always good. They don't take the sugar out, but the food, like the potatoes and beef and shit like that, they have to take all the salt out for babies because like I think their kidneys can't handle it or something like that. So if you just add salt and oil to like baby, I eat it all the time. Like for example, like if I felt like this was about to go bad. I would eat it. I would mix oil and salt into it in a bowl and just eat it. It's just like regular food. It is literally just regular food. They just take out the salt because I'm pretty sure it's their kidneys. They can't take all that salt when they're that small. But it's just regular food, man. But yeah, but anything like the applesauce or like the raspberries and shit, like that's literally just puree shit. You know, it's good, yeah. But yeah, so I'm gonna try to do some type of video. I'm not gonna be on here long because one, I'm in the kitchen, and two, the charger's not here. I got 50% left. Hi, baby, I'm staying here right now. He doesn't even want anything anyway. He's changing again. He's definitely changed again. Like his level of awareness changed over the last couple weeks. Because I can notice it, like he's definitely turning into a little person now. Like for example, today I took him to the park earlier today. And it was this park that we don't go to a lot because he's got this other thing now where as soon as we go to a park, like if he doesn't like the park, he just immediately walks out and leaves, right? So it's like a gamble taking him to a park anytime, you know. So anyway, there's this one part that has this you know how kids have the playground is like, you know, parts of it they like have to climb up and be like almost like a house, like a house kind of situation. Well, he doesn't have so some of it's not really made for 2-year-olds, and it'll have like these like a ladder but on the floor, and on top of it it's connected by like individual chains that'll move, right? And he doesn't have the dexterity for that shit yet, right? He thinks he does, but he doesn't. Right? So it was 2 issues today, right? One, he keeps putting rocks in his mouth. I keep having to chase him down and, you know, to tell him to take the rocks out of his mouth. And then two, he's up there in this play area where you know how kids can like climb up and be in this area and run around. Well, right behind them was that ladder like on the floor where you could fall through, right? Not all the way to the ground, but enough to like to fuck yourself up, right? Especially if you have the dexterity of a fucking 2-year-old, right? So so I was trying to catch him because one, he's running around with rocks in his mouth, and two is that ladder behind me. He didn't see it, so I tried to catch him and reach in there and grab him real fast, and I think I like grabbed his thumb the wrong way and it hurt, and he went like like you like. And it was the way he kind of flinched at the pain because I tried to grab him because the reason why I tried to grab him is because if I didn't grab him, he thought I was chasing him. And what he'll do is, you know, anybody who has a kid, you know, like if they think you're chasing them, they'll just take off running the other direction. Well, the other direction had that ladder shit where he's gonna bust his fucking face or whatever the fuck on it, right? So I reached in there and grabbed him real quick, and you know, I could tell kind of like hurt. I kind of grabbed his thumb the wrong way and it kind of hurt. But the way he flinched at it, like the way he genuinely was like, I was like, wow, he's turned into a little fucking human now. He's not just some blind fucking, you know, baby that just cries, right? He's like, he showed thought to the pain. You mean he showed a thought to the pain, right? It wasn't just the immediate baby cry, like it was that type of shit, right? So but I noticed it yesterday because actually I bumped into this dude he's from Cambridge, this big black dude, and the only reason why I bumped into him was because I was coming from the underground and the elevators were closed, so I had to take the escalators with him and the baby stroller, and so I ended up taking the escalator. And about halfway up, he decided he just wanted to turn around and go down the stairs and end up falling and crying. You know, because the escalators in Prague coming from the underground, I think they're some of the tallest escalators in Europe. They're pretty fucking, like, even to this day, there's some of them I still don't feel comfortable on because they're just too tall. They just go up, I'd say maybe 6 stories. I would, if I had to guess, I'd say about 6 stories high. Like they're pretty fucking tall. Like so I can only use the U.S. as an example. I want to say it's the Atlanta airport. It was one airport that has like extremely tall escalators, where if you have any fear of heights, you're gonna feel it on these escalators, right? And but that's how all the escalators in the underground, or I say 80 to 90% of them are in Prague. When you go from the underground to the top floor, right? So I was on one that was like incredibly tall with him, and for some reason, like I said, he was standing there in front of me, and I had the baby stroller behind me, and for some reason, he just decided he wanted to just turn around and go and run down the stairs and end up falling, and I'm like fucked up because I have a little fear. I'm still not comfortable on, so I just grab him. And out the corner of my eye, I thought there was this black woman with dreads about halfway down the escalator, and I seen her, right? Didn't think anything of it. So when I got to the top of the escalators, I got him back together. I mean, he's in there pooping. I got him back together, and so it wasn't a woman; it was a man, and it was this fucking 6'2", like built black dude with dreads, right? And we get to talking. He said, "Yeah, I seen you with him." I said, "But he had his kid with him. His kid's like, I think his kid's like 6 years old." He said, "Yeah, man, you know how it is. And they just they just bust out and do the craziest things." Yeah. And we end up talking for about 20 minutes. And he's from Boston, and he's been here about the same length I've been here. And real cool dude. We exchanged information. I haven't called him yet. We're supposed to hang out next week. But yeah. So, I don't even know why I brought that up, but yeah, he tried to kill himself. The baby tried to kill himself on the escalator. Just bust out and just try to run down some of the tallest escalators in Europe. Here's the weird part about escalators in Europe is like, okay, here's the other example. And this is why I don't understand, right, about differences in escalators, right? And heights. Yeah, he pooped. I gotta change his diaper. When I was in Ukraine, I tell my girl this story all the time. When I was in Ukraine, there was a mall. I forget what the name of that mall is. but it was the main mall, like in the center of Kiev, right? And it had escalators. Now these escalators weren't necessarily tall, but they were just kind of like weirdly hanging out to where it was like severely uncomfortable, right? And this is something that maybe somebody can educate me on this. What I tend to find is with this escalator situation, and maybe it's just my poor judgment or my poor awareness, but what I've noticed is like when you go to like the poorer countries, they tend to not have a fear of heights. They'll just like put shit anywhere, or people just sit on a fucking like okay, for example, like my balcony out there right now, like a European dude will go out there and sit on my fucking on the handrail of that balcony. I'm 7 stories up, and they'll just sit on it and smoke a cigarette like it's totally fine. Right. I remember when I was in Argentina. It was when I went to Devil's Throat Canyon. It was like that shit. Oh, and them people, they'd be from Europe, they coming down there. They just go and sit on it like it's nothing. Like, I'm not gonna fall. I'm perfectly level. Like, what the fuck is that? Can somebody tell me what that's about? Because in America, they wouldn't even make some shit like that. Like because they know they getting ready to get sued in America. That like that sense of heights and safety to like another example like down on the river, on the river they don't put any guardrail up between you and the river. It's just concrete where the street is, and that's just it. You could just fall in, right? And in North America, like I mean, you could probably find some places like that, but most North America they gonna put something up between you and that body of water, right? And I've always kind of wondered like why what is there? There's something that happens with like maybe is it like a fear of death or something like that happens once you become like once you're like in a richer country, do they fear death more? Is that it? Because I don't get like when I was in Ukraine, and I tell her this story all the time. When I was in that mall in Ukraine, I finally had the courage to ride the escalator, right? Well, first off, the escalators and the elevator. I remember when I first gained the courage to ride the elevator. The way the elevator is set up is literally in like when you first walk in, pretty much in the middle. But the problem is that you know how you walk into it, but then the other side is just completely exposed to like 5 or 6 stories up. It's just like completely clear. Like why? Now this is where I don't understand. Like now, my ignorant perspective is this the poor country's way to try to expect luxury to look, right? Like kind of like that. Like this Family Guy makes a joke about like Persians being overly tacky, trying to chase luxury, and I feel like that's kind of what it was with that scenario. Like I mean, the elevator in that mall was literally so exposed. Like if you have any fear of heights at all, you would not be comfortable riding an elevator 1 floor up. And this thing, most of everywhere, the food court was on like the 5th floor. It was on the 5th floor. And I remember I rode the elevator up there, right? And on the way up there, I knew, dude, I'm not gonna be able to get back down because it was just too high. It was because on top of that, you have to maybe let's see if I can find the inside of the mall on the internet. Let me see if I can find because it was it was just so disgustingly uncomfortable. Like I don't get why they would even make something like that. Oh shit. What was that? I think it was Gulliver. Was it this? But it was so uncomfortable, dude. Like that, you like if you have any fear of heights, like you could not ride the escalator or the elevator. You just have to just say fuck it. I think this is it. Yeah, Gulliver. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. This is it. Because here's how the escalator looks right here. Now, you wouldn't think that the way it's set up. I'm not even 100% sure this is it. But you see how the escalator is like kind of like hanging off the side, and you can just see all that shit all the way down. Right now, imagine being like 5 floors up, 6 floors up, 7 floors up, and it's the same shit. This is just 1 floor up, right? And then on top of that, like some like the higher you get, some of them will be like completely like it will literally just be like a bridge from like the fifth floor to the sixth floor. There's nothing on like the other side, right? It's just severely it's just severely like just uncomfortable. And like I said, I remember going up. Yeah, yeah, because this is the basement floor where they had the grocery stores. This is the right mall. So I remember I went all the way up, and I remember thinking like, dude, I'm not gonna be able to get back down. Yeah, yeah. Here it is. Here it is. So see the escalators on the left. That shit in reality, if you have any fear of heights, dude, that shit is severely uncomfortable. Severely, like it's just not even like you just get. Like I said, I got to the top. I remember thinking I can't get back down. So what I did was I went and ate. I was like, okay, maybe after I eat, I'll fuck around and get used to it and be all right, right? And I go and I tried to ride the escalator. I'm like, I can't do this shit. I'm stuck on the fifth floor with bruh man in Ukraine, right? Thank you, baby. These some nice trains you got. So I remember I walked around for maybe like 10 to 15 minutes, just like hoping maybe my brain will adjust and I'll find my inner Ukrainian and figure out how to get down this motherfucker in comfort, right? In ease. Didn't happen. So I ended up walking, and what I ended up finding was they actually had another set of elevators, and I would guarantee you that other elevators were placed in a reasonable place where you didn't have to look out. It was like closed, and I bet those were there on intentionally for that reason, because they probably, if I had to guess, they probably knew some people just can't do it. They just can't handle that height. And it's the same thing like with the underground here in Prague and their escalators. Like they're just so tall. Many people just ride the elevators and they're not supposed to. It's supposed to leave it for people with babies or people in wheelchairs. But I don't blame them, because like here's the thing, it's like the awareness for other people. Something about like Central Europe, and from what I understand from Central off to Eastern, well, even in Western Europe, there's a lack for awareness for other people, right? Like, and that's something I've really noticed. Like for example, like anything that has to do with like handicap laws, disability laws, like they just don't give a fuck. Like if they do, they kind of give a fuck, and then if it works, it works. I don't care. But in the U.S., like they would make sure you have a way in and out that is safe and comfortable. Right. But then it's again, it's the U.S. Like it's just one of those types of places. Yeah. Yo, what's up, AD? What are your thoughts on the attempt Trump assassination? I did. My dad told me. I didn't. First off, I didn't even know. I didn't know. I remember seeing pictures of him with like blood on his face, and I figured it was some, because look, man, the news people they'll say anything to get a click. So I just immediately clicked off of it because I was on my gaming PC, and like I said, like some picture in that little like. In the bottom right of Windows 10, it'll have like the news and all that shit. Like, and every now and then I'll randomly click on it. It was some picture of like, I figured it was probably like tomatoes or something like that. Cause you know how the news is a piece of shit, dude. They'll say anything for clicks or views. They're worse than shitty YouTube motherfuckers, right? Social media people, shit like that. I think the news. How many times I'll call it the news just flat out lying on some shit because they know people won't know. Like the cost of raising a child in Europe and Czech Republic was like in the top 3. While his mom was literally at home on maternity leave, and we watched it together. And we're raising a small like a baby. The news just lies so much. I just don't pay attention to like mainstream news anymore, at all. I think they're just pathetic on a whole. People who just never really live life at all, or live life from an extremely sheltered perspective. But to answer your question, I think the next day it came up somewhere else and it said somebody tried to assassinate him, and they showed a picture of the guy who tried to shoot him or shot him, but he just didn't get a good shot off. I talked to my dad about it. Like, okay, I'm so separated from the U.S. I'm only speaking. I'm going to be speaking purely as an outsider because I've been gone, on a wholesome level for about 8 years now. I've been back intermittently, but not long enough to really get a feel for the culture at all. Then on top of that, we don't walk like people walk over here. Like, so it's like when you do go to North America, you just you sit in the house or you drive somewhere, and then you walk around a mall, then you drive somewhere else alone, right? So, um, so I'm only gonna be speaking as an outsider because I've heard some wild stories since Trump got in there. But I well, first off, I think it should be well. Okay, here's the thing. Number one, I think the entire world is in a position that nobody knows what to do at all. Like too many things just changed, right? Like the whole concept of Donald Trump even making it to become president was a clear sign of new times because he pretty much because Donald Trump only stayed relevant through social media, right? Which was never a thing before. Um, I don't think. Okay, first off, I don't think Donald Trump should be killed. I don't think he should be assassinated. I mean, I really don't care if any CIA agent would hear me say anything, do some spine taking. I don't think that. I don't think. Okay, the reality in a place like North America, like the U.S., is the presidents aren't presidents. Yeah, you heard yourself, didn't you? Presidents in places like the U.S. especially don't have a whole lot of power. They can do a little bit here and there, but for the most part, for the vast majority of things, they don't really have a whole lot of long-lasting power. The presidents are essentially just figureheads, right? Now, if it was a place like Russia or something like that, then I can understand it a lot more, where they can just hold on to presidencies for as long as they want to and do whatever they want. Then now I can understand as an outsider again, I can understand a bit more why people would come to that conclusion. But with somebody like Trump, with somebody like Trump, he was going to be assassinated essentially because they don't want him as president, right? Well, my big thing is this. Now, and now again, times have changed, so maybe logic won't hold up. But in my opinion, I don't think that there is a chance that Donald Trump would ever become president again, simply because those fucking guys went down there to that White House office, or yeah, you don't want it, not that White House office. Remember when Trump didn't win the presidency, and then those guys went and stormed that government, whatever the fuck it was, and just destroyed it and all that shit like that. Like that was that act in itself showed the history of the country and where our racism really is, and the context of feeling comfortable to be able to do that while quoting rights laws, right? Because if Barack Obama didn't win and a bunch of blacks went down there and did that, that would have been received entirely differently. While the blacks were down there quoting laws and blah, 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 and all this, and you changed the ballots and whatever the fuck, like, it would have been received. In my opinion, see, it's these deeper things in the U.S. of why I say, there's a difference in how laws are perceived based off skin color. See, and especially in the U.S., see, the white population sees laws as their rights. Like, they have a right to be mad. They have a right to be upset. They have a right to come in here and do this. They see it's their right because somebody like them sat down and wrote that right to be employed, right? Whereas, see, as anybody who is not a white person in North America, deep down, they feel like that hopefully they're allowed to feel something. Hopefully, I'm allowed to be mad. See, if you were to break down all the emotions down to the core feeling based off the ethnicity, see, as a black dude in North America, I'm allowed, or hopefully I'll be allowed to be mad. It's not my right to be mad. But see, though that Trump group, see, it was their right to be upset. So they felt like it was totally fine. Right? Welcome there. Face painted. Had motherfuckers shooting back at him and everything. But with that being said, I think the reality of what I think from their perspective, they thought they were gonna go down in history as people who fought for the revolution of Trump to save North America and make America great again. See, from their perspective, I don't know because I never studied them, but just based off the history and the culture. From their perspective, if I had to assume, they thought that they was getting ready to change some revolutionary shit to get Trump back in there because they lied and all this shit like that. When in reality, all they really did was just further make it permanent that Trump will never get back in there, because now all that would tell the people of North America is, if your president doesn't get in, we'll just come and fuck up our shit and we'll let them in, right? See, these are things that movies like V for Vendetta and like so essentially different forms of socialisms and movies like V for Vendetta try to touch on to make it sound like it's something you want, but it's not something you really want for real. How he says the government should be afraid of its people, kind of thing like that. And you really don't want that, because somebody's gonna have to take the lead, right? And which one do you want to take the lead? I mean, would you rather some random dudes who just got a little upset, or some motherfuckers who's trained to do this? Which one do you want, right? So like the socialist slash okay, because here's the thing. Let's be all the way clear. Anybody who had anything to lose didn't go down there to that shit, right? True. Okay, I'll go ahead on a whim and say this, and I could be wrong. A true Republican did not go down there to fight for Trump. It's them Republicans who are really Democrats for real. The cannon fodder went down there to do that shit. The black feminists went down there to and tore that shit up. Them real Republicans ain't gonna do that. They're not gonna go down there and risk having their face put on the news and all that shit like that. They're not gonna do that. It was them poor Republicans, and I like the black feminists. They were the ones trying to go down there and do that. You stink. I'm gonna change your diaper. Yeah, I'm gonna move this in there while I change his diaper. And put it on the charger. And put this on the charger while I'm at it. Smelling like shit. Smelling like shit. What you doing? Nothing, pooping in my... I'm gonna start potty training you soon. It's actually a pretty clean one. I always get 4 wet wipes ready, and 1 in the chamber just in case. But this was a good poop. Because I'm ready to give him a bath anyway after this live stream, so I'm not gonna get... I just wiped him off. Change it. Yeah. He's smelling better. Smell like poop. Yeah. Yeah. Baby doo-doo. AD, you know what I've noticed? You don't really say... No, I don't know. Zuki, I've never said it in the rapper way. Because I grew up in the suburbs. And I never felt like I should say it. I never felt like I should ever... I never felt like I was entitled to say it. Because I grew up in the suburbs. And I used to... Here's the thing. I used to tell my... Okay, back when Dave Chappelle was like not as popular, I would say like he shouldn't be saying the N-word either, because he grew up way better than I did, right? He was sitting on Muhammad Ali's lap as a kid, right? And his parents were very well educated. And I was always saying Dave Chappelle should not be. I mean, he was always funny, but the N word, I never felt like he should ever be saying it. And then I had friends who grew up down the street from me. They would always walk around trying to act like they were from the hood and say and be all. Now I did go through a phase where I kind of just wanted to be like them and dress like I was like from the hood and all that stuff a little bit, but I never actually I never took that next level of like trying to talk like guys from the hood and all that stuff like that. I never like legit dudes from the hood. I never went that far with it. But I had a few well, pretty much any friend I would have had out in the suburbs was in my position, right? But no, I never felt like I never felt comfortable. I never felt comfortable even like thinking about saying it, like how you should say the N word, right? I've never said it. You will never ever. I'll guarantee it. You can watch every live stream or any video I ever made, anywhere, any record of me talk, you will never hear me say it. You've never heard. No one has ever heard me say it. My dad will sometimes, cause he grew up in the hood, but I don't know if he didn't grow up in the hood, but he grew up kind of poor. He grew up poor, but he didn't grow up in like the hood. I don't think. I don't know. Maybe he did. I don't know. But he definitely didn't grow up as good as I did. Thanks to him. But yeah, no, you will never find any live stream record of me saying it. It sounds like Baby Kratos is trying to say I stink. That dude is so smart. He's a shit cleaner. You said a few times when explaining something, you don't say it casually. Yeah, I'll say it like with a hard R, like something like that. But I've never said it like rappers say. I've never said it like, because I don't even feel comfortable even thinking about forming my mouth to end it like that. I've never said it. I guarantee it. Because like I said, even when Dave Chappelle's always been funny. I'm not saying that. I'll never take that from him. He's always been funny, But I just always felt like I would put Dave Chappelle up there, almost up there with DJ Khaled and saying it. Like it just never ever feels right. Well, let me correct it. Dave Chappelle figured out how to enunciate it to make it sound right coming out of his mouth. But if you knew where he came from in any kind of way, you would automatically know, yeah, that's not, he shouldn't be doing that. But and here's the thing is, I would tell my friends that, and they would always like say, no, he grew up in D.C. and D.C.'s rough and all that, and they would damn near roast me out the room for bringing it up. And then he made a Netflix. It was when he first came back, and in that Netflix stand-up, it was a 2-parter, I think. And he finally addressed, I think it came out maybe like 2017. It was when I was here, when I first came here. He came out with it, and he said it on stage. He said, yeah, now I'm not from the hood, but people thought, in the stand-up, he literally says, I'm going to loosely quote, all this time people thought I grew up in the hood, and it's just something that people just thought, so I just let it stick. But no, he says, no, I didn't grow up in the hood. And he finally, like, admitted it, right? But yeah, because he was from Yellow Springs. If you had, let me tell you something about Yellow Springs. Where Dave Chappelle's from in Yellow Springs, even to get like some shithole apartment out there, you're gonna be spending a lot of money. That's not. Yellow Springs is one of those places that doesn't look nice, but Yellow Springs is one of those places that doesn't look. It doesn't look like luxury at all, but it's like they keep their own community there. And you'll see nicer cars, but you won't see like nicer houses. You're not gonna see like extravagant houses with pillars outside and shit like that. It'll look like just some like regular old shit, but like nothing out there is cheap. And here's the weird part about Yellow Springs. Is that if you go to the toy, like how you can tell rich motherfuckers for real? Here's how you can tell rich motherfuckers. They kids don't play with the same toys that regular kids play with. When you go into their toy stores, and this is how you gonna know you're fucking with rich kid in a rich neighborhood, or you're in a poor. See, the poor kids walking around with their name brand of toys, right? I mean, I'm sure shit's changed since then, but when you walk into their toy stores, I didn't recognize anything in there. Right? Nothing. I'm talking nothing. N-U-T-T-I-N. Nothing. Didn't do nothing. All right. When I walked into that toy store, they didn't operate on any of that shit, dude. When I remember going to the restaurants, restaurants had the like. Them motherfuckers was selling fried tomatoes in Ohio. Motherfuckers don't eat fried tomatoes like that in Ohio restaurants. They was selling stones and shit like that. They was just on a whole different thing. But yeah, the toys was a big thing, and I remember they had like an art exhibit to like sell art. Yeah, you hurt yourself, didn't you? They had an art exhibit, and they were like selling like it was like. Okay, that art exhibit was like it wasn't millions of dollars for this shit, but it was like the same shit as like that bullshit with like just throw paint on a fucking piece of paper and sell it for $5 million type of shit. It wasn't far from that level. Or what they would do is that they would like what rich people do. They go and take what poor people have, and then make it like cool in the rich world. They like it's the same thing. Like how the poor people go off and try to like go get Louis Vuitton and shit like that, and bring it back to the hood and be like, yes, I'm cultured because I've trickled into the richer walks of life, and now I have Louis Vuitton while I pay $300 a month in rent. Right? You have that part of the population. And then in the rich communities, you have the same thing. They'll go to junkyards and buy like a piston and paint it like jet black and sell it for like $5,000, some shit like that, right? So some silly shit like that. It's really like the whole thing is disgusting and pathetic. Baby feet. What time is it? Yeah, I was gonna try to do a video, but I'm not gonna be able to focus with him. So you sticking his foot up? I remember when he was a baby, that would freak him out. When I would go like, I couldn't do it. Now I can do it. He can talk and walk. He can't talk yet. He's walking and running, but he can't talk. Look at this. Say, oh boy, chicken, oh boy, baby. And let me make us look so we can see himself. Look, baby. Look. Oh boy. How old is baby Kratos now? Let me see. He's 2 years and just over 1 month. What challenges do you think you would have. Kevin Mugami says, what challenges do you think you would have if you had a daughter in Czech Republic, consider she's basically black over there? Well, I don't know. I don't know. I have heard that they, well, there's no way to tell, honestly. There's no way. I don't know. Because the thing is, like, here's the thing. It's like once the girl ends up mixed with a girl, most of it is if she's okay. Most of the way a girl's gonna be treated is if she's, if she's really pretty or not, right? That's gonna be the main driving factor on how a girl's gonna be treated. And so there's just no way to tell. Like I'm thinking of some teenage girls who I knew one way or another, like because it was like a friend's daughter or something like that. Usually by the time they hit school, like they're gonna have some girls that are gonna make fun of them or something like that because they just look different or something. But they're never really gonna know, like, are they like half black or they half, like, where they really mixed with. So like, here's the. But it's, there's no way to tell, to be honest. There's just no way to tell. Because girls are always going to have it easier, especially if the country's like anywhere near Western. They're definitely going to have a lot easier. And Czech Republic flirts with playing West as long as it plays in its benefit kind of thing. So, in Czech Republic, I think she would be fine. Now, a boy's always going to have it a little rougher. Well, and here's the thing. He might have it easier because he'll just be like, my son's just going to be the exotic thing in the classroom, right? He's going to be the one, there's a good chance he's probably going to be like the one different one. So as long as he doesn't grow up to be like, as long as he grows up to just be, as long as he grows up to be decent looking and all that, he'll be all right. No, because you doing it to talk over me right now. Nah. Chill out, boy. He'll be all right. I think it's just one of those things. There's no way to tell. There's no way to tell. As in, it's like, nah. Shh. There's just no way to tell, honestly. But yeah. What was it like being a stepfather to a child of a different race and country? Well, I mean, it wasn't anything too crazy. Like I said, the more crazier part is just the language. Because the weirder part for me was here's the thing, the more weird parts. Baby, no, you doing that because you're trying to talk over me now. Chill out. The weirder parts was just hearing small kids speak in a different language from mine. Like that was a really big awakening. I'm just gonna take this in the other room. That was a real big awakening because, because for me in my little world, right, like every small child's supposed to speak English, so to hear like small children speak, a different language, that was a big awakening. You follow me here? But yeah, the bigger parts was really more the language, and then the culture for raising kids here. Like, it's usually here's the thing about raising kids here. From what I hear from other people and my experiences, it's usually one of the two extremes when it comes to raising children. And it seems to be a going thing in Slavic communities for the most part. It's usually either the mother... Okay, so I say it's three. One, the mother becomes an alcoholic. Two, the mother is too smothering. Or three, the mother will literally leave her kid or kids at home while they run off for days with another man. In every case or anybody who I've ever known, it usually boils down to those three things. And believe it or not, the one where the mother ends up leaving the kids at home to go run off with another man for days at a time is in my experience was much more common. My ex-wife, her mom was doing that. The female friend of mine, we were talking, and she knew her stepdad's wife before her mom did the same thing. She had like two or three kids, leave them at home with nothing, and run out with another man for days at a time. And that is a weak. Now here's the in the U.S. I don't think that's so much of I don't think in the U.S. that's a common thing. Like where women would just leave the kids like at home and run off with another man for days and literally leave them like a bag of sugar in a cabinet or something like that. Like they'll do that shit here. Like that's a common. And see these are areas again. Like see these parts of news don't make it to North America. Or there was always like something going on in the news where like I remember my memories coming back. There was always like stories in the news where like a girl would like leave her kid in like in an abandoned car, right, and go run off in a bar for like, and they would catch her. They would catch her doing it. It happens like a lot. Like it's not a severely uncommon thing. Like I said, the cultures are different. It's like either one of the parents turns into a severe alcoholic, which is pretty normal. Usually the mother becomes extremely spoiling, which is what I've got going on, but in a good way. Or three, the mother just like will literally just leave the kid at home with $10 or something like that, and leave for like days. Because my ex-wife, her mom was doing that with her. The way her mom was doing her was like, I would never dream, like that would be a nightmare mode for me with raising a child. She told me stories when she was a little girl. Every morning, like, because back then TVs were like super expensive because she was same age as me. So when she was a little girl, that was when communism was still going on, and TVs were like crazy expensive. Like you had to save up for months to get lucky enough to get up in a position where you could buy a TV, right? So they finally bought a TV, but it took a long time to do it. And she said that they only had one TV, and it was in her mom's room. So every morning she would like run to her mom's room to go and get into bed and watch TV with her mom, and there would always be like another man in there. Like it was always a different guy in there, right? And on top of that, like so when she got older, she would leave and come to Prague to go run around with men and leave her at home with like just some money to go buy food with. Like there is no way I would leave my kid alone to go run around with another woman. Like, this is not, no. I'm sure it happens in other places too. But I've heard the amount of times that it comes up, it's almost as if there's no shame in it in these cultures, in the Slavic culture. Now, my girl, like her mom is the same thing, spoiling. Like the women in her family seem to be of the same cloth. Like they're spoiling. They're the spoiling type. They're not gonna leave the kid out alone somewhere. But in these cultures, it's almost a common thing. It's almost just like a common like there's no severe shame to it. It's like it's just how we do. Sounds like you got lucky with your girl. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. We still have problems. It's definitely not all sunshine and butterflies. We definitely still have some issues. It's usually something simple that that I got a problem with. She just doesn't want to change for that, basic thing. But it's usually nothing. Okay, we do have issues. But yeah, overall speaking, for what I could have ended up with my child, for a mother of my children, yeah, definitely, I definitely got lucky for sure. It could have been a whole lot worse. For sure, yeah. AD, when did you meet your girl? Not long after COVID started. It was that like April or May or something like that COVID had started. Well, it was right. Okay, so we went into lockdown before America did. It was about 2 or 3 weeks before America. It made it to North America. Because I remember I was telling my dad we have to wear masks. We had to wear something to cover our face, and I was showing him pictures, and he didn't think they would ever do it in North America. Because it was a few weeks before it made it to the U.S. But then I remember when the lockdowns got lifted, and then that's when we went out for the first time at this one restaurant. It was during the beginning of COVID. What's up, AD? Can't tune in for too long. Oh shit, Mo. Well, hey, I'm glad you're able to at least communicate. That's good. Means a lot to me, man. I hope you're doing all right. Yeah, well, Somnirex, yeah, black in Europe can be cool. Yeah, it can be cool. Yeah, Somni. So I don't want to paint this picture that being black in Europe is like this immediate death sentence or something like that. Like you can be seen as the exotic one, and it doesn't that mean that you necessarily have to be from a richer country. But when I do get around certain people, like it does become clear that yeah, like it really depends what country you're from. Baby, chill out. You trying to talk over me. Chill out. I know what you're doing, because you weren't doing this all day today. You alright. That's another thing he gets from his mom, too. Like, if you just tell him, like, no or something, like, his whole world's just destroyed. If you literally just tell him no, or tell him something he didn't want to hear. He just lay face down in the bed, like Ralph. You remember when Ralph fell through that window and he just lays, like, straight down? That's how he do when you tell him no. He just like his mom. They can't handle being told no. And I tell them no, both of them, all the time. You walk around. And both of them walk around with the same face. They walk around like... They women and children, man. That's just the territory. They used to the world always going, okay. Okay. You're a woman and child, okay. Both of them used to it. It's just what it is to be a woman and a child, man. They're not used to ever having to be held accountable for anything, because then that's being mean to them if they're being held accountable. Being held accountable for actions, that's being mean. That's just mean. Have you seen season? I haven't watched The Boy. I didn't even finish the first. I haven't even finished the first season of it. I really enjoyed it. If I had known that the cast who the people who created The Boys had made it, I would have watched The Boys from the very beginning. Because I've always been in those, like, all those people who did like the Constantines or the Watchmen series, the Watchmen comic, all those people always make great stories. So like if you just put their name on something, I'll immediately pay attention to it. With no question asked. They always make great shit. Now, as far as if it translates to a show well, that's a whole different situation. But yeah, I've always, yeah. No, I haven't watched it to answer your question. Somni. Oh wait, no, we had a DNA test. We did a DNA test. Actually, let me look it up when we did it. So I saved it in my emails because they email you the results. He was a baby. It had to have been like 6 months later we did the DNA test. Here it is. Yeah, it was August 11th was when I got, August 11th, 2022 was when I got the DNA test back. Yeah, here it is, because it's DNA. Yeah, here it is right here. Well, you can't see it, but I can see it. That was August. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, it was August 4th was when we went down there to take the test, and I guess we got it back. What was this? August 11th was when it emailed me the result. He will end up being relentlessly bullied or placed on the highest of pedestals. Yeah. There's a good chance. Yeah, being like mixed, especially with like brown over here. Yeah, either you're gonna be, and I say it's pretty much the same like in the U.S. Either you're going to be on the highest of pedestals and you're a great one, or you're just something to be forgotten, right? And that's just kind of how it is, you know. Because because me and my spouse, we were talking, and we were talking about the whole black don't crack thing. I said, no, black cracks is just, you just pay attention to the top 5% of blacks. Black definitely cracks, all right? Black definitely cracks. All right, but it's just that thing. It's like, is just the world only really only really values, the top 3 to 5% of blacks. So that's the only amount that they really pay attention to with praise, and the rest of them are just to be forgotten. That type of thing. It's just how it is, man. It's just life. It's just how it is. You eating your little sandwich? You chilling? You chilling? He's getting more clingy to me too lately. He wasn't this clingy before. This happened probably about over the last few weeks. Because before, he would be like, the last time I live streamed here, he'd be running there playing with his toys and, checking in on me from time to time. But now, like, he just, like, he's really starting to do with me what he was doing with his mom. Like, but don't get me wrong, if mom still comes around, like, I'm an afterthought then. But if it's just me, then I'm, like, by far number one, from anybody else. Baby, come here. No, it's just a little. Never mind, you're right. I thought I fucked up his diaper. It was just up a little too high. But it's alright. Wait, what's up, Jen? But yeah, man. I don't want to paint the pictures like being black as being like an immediate death sentence here. But it's going to be a different scenario just because of the location. Like, okay, being black over here is almost like being like Mexican in North America, right? Because of how the world's going to see it. Not necessarily because it's the truth, but more so how the world's going to see it based off of media and shit like that. So in North America, if somebody's Mexican, it's going to be generally the same thing. Either they're going to be the best of the best, or they're going to be some forgotten labor, right? This is what it is, right? And I think like over here is essentially the same thing for like pretty much everybody outside of Europe is going to be seen like that. It's like either they're going to be the top thing, or they're going to be forgotten labor. There's no room for them to just like Mario Kart, right? They're not allowed to just like Mario Kart, or just like to watch tennis on TV. They're not allowed to do this. See, once you invite a Mexican and enjoying watching the tennis be played online, see now that shatters the entire stereotype of what a Mexican is supposed to be. So now it makes, if anything, it's going to make people either uncomfortable or immediately make them like the number one Mexican on earth because they like something different, right? And I think it's the same thing as being a black dude. Like if a black dude says that they like to watch Formula One racing, right? Or Moto 3, or Moto GP or something like that. You're not supposed to do that. That doesn't fit any stereotype that's already been made out of movies and TV of you. So that's just completely wild, right? So either like it's a stage of complete uncomfortable. And something else that's uncomfortable for me and the baby is just being a kid, man. Like, for some reason, he prefers his food on the floor. I gave him plates, napkins, everything else, and he'll just take the food and just put it on the floor. He got a sandwich right on the floor by his foot. I done gave him plates and napkins, everything, and he just keeps putting it on the floor. That seasoning tastes good. Grave Ray 80. Don't know if you answered already, but what's your opinion on high value men in dating? First let me answer the Trump question. What do I think about the Trump? I'm going to answer that, Grave Ray, but I want to answer the Trump question. So I don't think Trump should be killed. And that's just an honest thought. I don't think there's any. I think what a person, if a person would want to kill Trump, I think what they really want to kill is the stupidity and ignorance around Trump that follows Trump. That's who they really want to hurt and kill. They don't want to kill Trump. Trump is just a fucking figurehead. That's all he is. He's just a figurehead that is in the position to talk shit in front of a camera and people listen to him. That's it. There's 1,000 people doing that on social media right now. I'm doing it right now, right? But when you get into the inner workings of how any westernized government is actually going to work, it's going to become very clear that while yes, some people want to suck his dick because he's the president, he's not going to have a whole lot of long-lasting power to make any long-lasting decision, right? Because that's why I'm probably gonna fuck this up. That's why the core of our government has literally been copied, literally been plagiarized by at least 8 different countries, and they keep fucking. They can't get it the same way that America has it, right? Because it's the way that the order's set up so one person can't have too much power. But I mean, they can have some power, but they can easily be kicked out, whatever the fuck. Like, they're not in power for too long if they start fucking up way too bad. What you doing, baby? Yeah. Can you see him? No, you can't see him. Yeah. Got him. So yeah, Grave Ray. So I don't know. Okay, what do you think? A high value man in dating? Do you believe is necessary? Well, here's the okay. Every man is going. Here's the thing, man. When it comes to high value, first I want to say this. When it comes to high value, man, every man's gonna be high value to some woman, right? Like, every man's gonna be high value to some woman. It just depends on where you are and what culture you're in and all that, and how they seeing it and all that. But this whole you must be do this thing. This whole thing of like the high value man, okay, yeah, and I mean by definition there is like a generality of a high value man. That definitely is a thing. But I say like, okay, here's the thing. When it comes to this whole push for high value and these fucking dingbat women talking about they want a man who makes 6 figures and all this before he walks in the room. Okay, in theory, I don't expect women to follow theory because theory requires too much thought. In theory, it would be like you're on an NBA team, right? And being like, okay, yeah, I only fuck with guys who are 6'2" and above. 6'2" and can run a 40-yard dash and fucking I can't remember the times, but I can run a 40-yard dash in a certain amount of time, right? A 44.442 or something like that, right? Well, yeah, those are just 2 stats. They're 6'2" and they can run a 40 and is a 4.1. I can't remember the times anymore. Is a 4.1 a good time? Those are good stats, but those have very little to do with actually being a basketball player, right? Right? There's a lot more to it. Where you can say, oh well, and he has to have some gym shoes and some shorts. And I mean, this type of shit, right? Like it's a very poor way of trying to trying to filter out, yeah, I guess lower quality people, right? Even though there is logic to it, but there's a whole any recruiter, any scouter will tell you there's a lot more to it than just being tall and being able to run, right? To make it to the NBA. Relative, even though I don't have a lot of respect for the NBA because that's a whole nother conversation. But there is more to it than just being tall and knowing how to run, right? Does this person have coordination? Can they remember plays? Do they have spatial awareness? Do they have a good reaction times? Can they shoot? Can they shoot free throws? Do they operate under pressure? Can they work as a team? All these other things go into creating a team, which is what a relationship is. It's a team, right? Right? Now here's the thing. In making a team, the man is always going to be the head coach. Let's use the team analogy in a relationship, right? In a relationship, the man mostly always has to be the head coach, right? Okay, by the time the man has become the player and the woman has become the head coach, the woman she's looking off to become a player again. That's what's going to make her happy, right? She wants to be led. She wants to be coached and led, properly, right? So, but back to the team and that, but to the team's scenario, right? See, a head coach knows. See, like Phil Jackson knows that just because I have a cousin that's 6'8" and can run kind of fast, that don't mean shit on the basketball court, right? Right. I got to see this dude play. I got to see how he acts with players. I got to see, does he pick up on things, this type of thing, right? Just because I got a cousin that's 6'8" and can run kind of fast, and we think he can dunk a little bit, that doesn't mean shit on an actual basketball court, right? And see, these are the things that now. With that being said, if Phil Jackson wanted to, he can look at my cousin and say, "You're 6'8", you can run kind of fast. I can make you a basketball player, right? Because there's a good chance you're not going to be a good basketball player on an NBA level just because you're 6'8" and you know how to run." Right. But me as Phil Jackson, I can just devote the time to get you up to speed with these other people. Right. But see, this is where a woman is never a head coach. See, a woman can never go to a man and be like, yeah, I can coach you up to become a man and make you something I will be happily desirable with. A woman never becomes a head coach in a relationship. She always stays the player. See, as a man, it's your job to be like, yeah, you got a nice ass, you got a nice smile. I think you could be kind of cool to talk to. I could make you a good woman, right? I can make you Michael Jordan. I can make you LeBron James. I can make you a Vince Carter. I can make you a somebody, right? That's the perspective that is the real position of men in dating. Now, women think it's them, and to be honest, it is in the initial phase. It is the women that's doing it. But like anything in a woman's life, it's very short. Anything of value in a woman's life is very short lived. The woman is the one who makes the decision up front to get together. But after that, it's the man who's the one who turns her into a good woman. The woman does not turn a guy into a man, where a man turns a girl into a woman, right? In terms of a relationship and building up a family and building up anything of any actual value or worth. So, well, back to the question: how important do you believe is necessary? Every guy is going to be a high value man at some point to some woman. It just depends on you, where you are, and what you have access to. But yeah, yeah. Yeah. I never thought I just came with that on the spot. So maybe there's holes in that logic, but overall speaking, yeah. Like for example, just because a guy is 6 foot, let's say just because a guy, what's the thing that women claim they all claim they want now? It's like a guy who's 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, such and dick, six figures and all this. Like yeah, like that is a way to filter out people in one way, but there's no inner workings to, okay, is this guy ready for a relationship? Does he, can he keep a conversation? Essentially, can he make a conversation? Because women don't create conversation. Women don't create anything. Can the guy create a conversation? Can he keep it going? Can he keep me entertained? Can he keep me interested? And all. See, none of the rest of that is being applied, right? And this is what I'm saying. See, women are always players. They're never coaches. They're never leaders, right? If you leave it up to a woman, they would all just buy brightly colored shit and just wait for men to come and approach them. If you left it completely to women, that's as far as they would go in development. Because anything after that, they're looking for. Because here's the thing: I was talking to a female friend of mine, right, and we were talking about sex, and she was because she likes it rough, and we were talking about it, and she said, yeah, the last few guys they weren't rough, and she goes, but Wendell, I want to tell him that I want it like this, but how do I tell him? And I said, no, you don't. I said you don't want to tell him. That's gonna make it worse. Because see, the reason why women stay interested in men is because the man is doing something of his own will, right? The last thing a woman wants to do is feel like that she led a man into anything, right? Again, she doesn't want to be the head coach. She doesn't want to tell you to run a pick and roll right here, right? A woman does not want to tell you to shoot the three right now. A woman doesn't want to have to tell you to run a 1-3-1 defense right now because they got a good shooting guard and a good small forward, but their center fucking sucks. They don't want to have to tell you. See, they're the player. The coach is the one that tells you to do that. Right. Now the player can do it from time to time. Like every now and then you have a Peyton Manning or a Brett Favre that goes there and calls an audible because he's seen some shit he didn't like. And those are rare few who can get away with that, right? And stay successful in it. But for the most part, the coach is the one who makes all the calls, or the vast majority of them, right? So when it comes to sex, she was saying how, I want him to bite me and all this shit like that. I said, no, you don't. Well, okay, you may want him to, but you want him to want to. Like, I'm trying to tell her she does not want to tell the man, I want you to bite me here, I want you to do this, I want you to smack me here and all that, because it's going to make it worse, because now you're leading him, right? And she eventually ended up agreeing with me, which you just got to take my word for it, but she ended up agreeing with me. A woman does not want to have to lead a man. A woman never wants to be the head coach. She doesn't. The vast majority of women do not want to be head coaches. They don't want to be in charge of making the vast majority. Now, there are some, by the way, I'll even go to another subject real fast. There's some great women who are GT3 racers and who are professional race car drivers, and they do a great fucking job. I was watching this one racer, this one female. She was driving a pink Porsche, and she was keeping up with this dude, and she was kicking fucking ass doing it. But like I always say, whenever there's these fields where women do it, it's usually 9 men to at most 1 woman, right? Most women just don't have it in them to compete. Let me see if I can find that. Pink woman. It was a GT. They were at Spa, and she was keeping up with this dude, and I was like proud of her. I went off and Googled her and everything. I can't remember her name now, but I was proud of that woman for doing that. She was on live TV doing $150 to $150 to $170, hitting turns with him. For those of you who know racing, you know the track Spa Francorchamps or however you pronounce it. And she was toe to toe with him, and I was proud of her for doing that. I'm a fan of her for doing that shit, right? When a woman can keep up, she can. It's a beautiful thing, but the vast majority can't. Who the fuck? It wasn't what I seen. It was a Porsche. It wasn't a Lamborghini. It was a Porsche. Let's see if I can find them. These races. All female Lamborghini GT3 team. That's a dude that like. Okay, I don't know. I don't know who. I've never seen these women race. But. But when they do keep up, it's a beautiful thing. It was an amazing thing to watch. It really was.
My name is Samantha Tan. I'm a professional race car driver and team owner of Samantha Tan Racing.
Are they going to show her actually? Yeah, they know. No, they ain't going to show her actually like driving. But yeah, but it was amazing, man. I'm gonna get off. Where's my battery at? I'm at 26%. I'm gonna get off in probably 30 more minutes. I'm gonna take them out real quick for a walk and then bathe them and put them to sleep. We took about a 3-hour nap today. from about 2 to 5, 5:30. Yeah. Eat the little baby. What you doing? But yeah. Yeah, with the whole high value thing, man, it's just a lot of women living in a fan. It's just like this whole high value man thing is essentially a porno dream to men when they're younger. I'd say it's the same thing. This high value, this chase for this mythical prince, it's turned into just this complete fantasy of the, and I think it's the woman equivalent of a man, of a younger guy. Well, back in my day when I was younger, holding out for like a beautiful porn parties and all this shit like that. It's just become strictly fantasy that most women and most men will just never get to experience for one reason or another. But and here's the other part. Once you the only worst thing in my opinion is actually getting a chance to experience it, right? Like I did. Right? Once I remember the first time I had a threesome, and I remember that the first time I did it, I was like so in shock that I felt I remember I went to the mall. I went to Dayton Mall after it. And I walked around and I was just so in shock. I couldn't feel the excitement from being even like in a mall anymore, right? Because it was just like I finally had a threesome. I finally did what guys dream of doing, and it was finally finished. Like I did it, right? And I was happy. It was like I was like next level happy for a little while, but then it just became normal because me and the two girls ended up becoming cool. So we just did it like literally every day for about 2 weeks straight. So it was like it just died off. I just didn't care anymore, right? Um, and here's the thing: it would be the same thing with all these women, chasing this whole thing of I want a 6 figure man. I want a man to come around and chase me who's a prince and has, or what was that fucking dingbat, the one who's selling vitamins? It's just, her method of attack was going to the grocery store and wearing tight clothes. It's like to find a man. Like, see, these are women who've never had, who if they're still sitting up. Here's the thing: if somebody is still sitting up glorifying, their dream is to have sex with like a certain porn star. The reason why it's their dream is because they never had it. So now they're just living off pure fantasy at this point, right? So with these men I'm sorry, with these women who are dreaming after these men with 6 figures and they're holding out in life and they're sitting around being miserable and lonely because they really want it. The only reason why they're doing it is because they've never had it. And baby, I'm in here right now. They've never had it, dude. That's why. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not that like I don't look at a bitch like I would like to fuck her, but I'm not like holding out my life and feeling bad about myself because I didn't, because I never fucked a porn star. And see, here's the thing. I'm not calling into the fucking some YouTube channel. Be like, how come I can't fuck Dua Lipa? What's wrong with me? How come I can't find a Dua Lipa to fuck? I'm not, like, well, what are you looking for in a woman? Well, I'm looking for a Dua Lipa type bitch with big tits and a nice oily fat ass, and I can't find it. Well, how much does she have to make? Well, she has to earn like $230K a year. I'm not ready YouTube trying to sell off my dick, right? Just because I want to fuck Dua Lipa. Like, would I fuck with Dua Lipa? Yeah, of course I'd fuck Dua Lipa. But I'm not running around, like, I'm not trying to make I'm not calling into YouTube, calling into the internet and social media, putting the Amber Alert out for me trying to fuck Dua Lipa. Here, baby, you want some water? Here, baby. You forgot all about that. What's it? Thanks, Nine Feather says, 80, what do you think about Trump's shooting assassination attempt? That kid Thomas Crooks sent Zero the hero. I don't advocate it. I don't advocate that, especially especially in how our government's set up and everything. I'm strongly against it. And here's the thing, I think, and on top of that, with so much social media, especially nowadays with social media, I just don't think the majority of the population is ready to handle something like that happening with social media out there, and people so quickly people can just get basic things confused, and next thing you know, people are super angry. They done killed each other. I just don't think people are smart enough to even handle something like that. Let's just say if the dude had succeeded and killed him, right? There's no telling what would have happened after it. But I just don't think people are smart enough to really even to handle something like that. Have you listened to Eminem's new album? No. I heard it. I seen the one video he made where he talking about his kids suck and all that stuff. And I mean, it was alright. It was good. It wasn't like bad like that one CD he made where he had all those accents on it. Like he even said that shit was garbage. Like he just it was a good song, but I mean, it wasn't anything like. Eminem is at his best when he's fucked up, which I think that's how a lot of musicians are. Like in any kind of way, a musician, whether it's any kind of way. I think like being fucked up always makes musicians better, and I just don't think he's like fucked up enough or angry enough to be like that next level good that he used to be. Well, even then, his lyrics were still really good for it being him. It was still really good, but he's missing that factor that he had, when he was always fucked up and high, like that, like. But then also, like back then, like my favorite one I think was the Marshall Mathers LP, the one that had "Kill You" on it. That was my favorite one, but that hasn't aged too well because I remember when it came out. That's the one that has "You Don't Wanna Fuck with Shady. Why? 'Cause Shady will fucking kill you." Like that was I still love that song, by the way. I still think that's still one of my favorite Eminem songs. Cuz it was just something like just out there. But that album hasn't aged like it's in some ways it aged well. In other ways, like the bars just don't hit the same anymore because things have just developed over time. But I will say at the time he was the only one rapping like that. Here, stop. Just give me this. You ain't ready for that. Just because they hype up to be the biggest rapper in the world. Well, the thing is, it was okay. Eminem. There was a time period for. So okay, here's the thing. The lyrical rappers that are out, at least nowadays, the rappers that are out now, nobody else would. Okay, a lot of that really came out of after Eminem, in my opinion. Even when, because I remember when Lil Wayne had jumped his lyrical game, because Lil Wayne used to be just another typical rapper. Like with that whole, I'm on the block with my Glock, what you talking about? Because it's hot, and you know how it is when it's hot. And it was that same Ja Rule, Lil Wayne. Like it was that realm of rapper that was mainstream. It was the same shit. It was just this super blocky. It was supposed to be good because they were a little raw, because they sound tough, and that was about it, right? Then Eminem came out and actually started making lyrics that were like weird, catchy, could fuck around and tell a story, but then we still had a little weird, but had brutal parts to it that were just like open and exposed. Like you should see Haley now. She's getting so big and so beautiful, but you'll never see her. She won't even be at your funeral. To say something like that about his mom on a mainstream, platform was a big deal back in the day, right? And then and I still call it. I still say for how I remember it happening, and maybe I could be wrong, but I remember after Eminem got big, Lil Wayne didn't come out with another song for a long time. He was pretty quiet, even in the how you call the mixtape era. He got real quiet. I think Cassidy came out in that period. Dipset was real hot, and that Dipset had a lot of hot. Dipset had a lot of hot mixtape tracks that you would never hear, never even. A buddy of mine, we still talk about this one mixtape he had a Dipset, and he could never find it again. That was the hottest CD I'd ever heard in my life. Dipset had the best beats, everything, man. Between Joel Santana, I never really was a fan of Cameron, but I liked him though. When he was allowed to actually be Cameron and not trying to be like this, like, you know, P Diddy kind of dude he was almost turned into for a while. But it was just a different time. So then I remember Nicki Minaj crept up not long, if I remember correctly, not long after Cassie. Nicki Minaj kind of crept up here and there, and she had some hot shit, and she changed a few parts of the game up too, of like lyrical catchiness and endings kind of thing. And then Lil Wayne came back with a vengeance. Lil Wayne came back with a vengeance. And he was hot for about, I say about 5 or 6 years. Like, he was just like, what he was saying mixed with his lyrics and the beats he was using, he was just at the top for a good while, and at least in the mainstream world, he was just at the top. And then Eminem started to fall off for a while. Eminem was pretty much dead for about a good 6 years, so that Berserk came out. That shit's about to take on this part, looks whack. I still remember I heard that. I remember when that came out, dude. I remember I was on YouTube and it had just this boom box and it said Eminem Berserk. I was like, oh Lord, Eminem's done, right? Because I figured he was just done. Because at this point, he had that album that had the accents on it. And that was just garbage. And I remember right before I clicked that YouTube link to Berserk, I remember thinking to myself, uh-oh, this is it. Eminem's over. Right? Well, I guess we got to live off the memories of Kill You now, right? And then I played it, and at first I was like, and then all night we gonna rock the boat, and I was like, oh no, that's actually hot. Right? And I was like, oh, Eminem came back. From the PM to the AM. And then Cassidy, he was hot for a little while, but Cassidy was far better in battle raps than he was on his mainstream. If you ever watch those tapes of Cassidy battle rapping or freestyling or anything, Cassidy was amazing. He was far better in that than his mainstream. And then Cassidy eventually died off. And he came back not too long ago, but nobody even knows because I follow him. And he came out with this one track, something like "What the Hood's Been Missing" or something like that. And it wasn't. Here's the thing. It wasn't even a bad song. I think he came up with a whole CD and he put it on YouTube somewhere. And it wasn't even bad, but it was just like Cassidy's style just did not make that evolutionary phase of what happened. Right? Like, it wasn't like it was catchy hooks and all that, you know, and good lyrics, but it just didn't make it. Like, now he with what he made was the equivalent of that 45-year-old dude with like knee-high socks and Chuck Taylors and, you know, in the basketball park. Like, he was still good. Baby, chill out. It was still good, but it wasn't like, you could tell you mean something's just off. Joel Santana, before he was a monster. I didn't know he got on drugs. Cam was still a monster lyrically. He just didn't care after the first 2 albums. Yeah, I still listen to Cameron came out with a track about 2 or 3 years ago with a CD. It was dun 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 dun. Because I was just listening to it on Apple Music. I was just listening to it on Apple Music. He said I bought my mother a washing machine. She asked where that money come from. See, moms ain't no dumb and all this shit like that. It was because he has a music video with it's just him standing with a piano next to him, and that's pretty much the whole video. And he's like just rapping, standing next to a piano, and I like it. I love it. I think it's great. But I think again, I think Cameron, in my opinion, I think he was kind of like Cassidy, even though I think Cassidy was a better rapper. I think their styles just didn't convert to modern times and what the kids are listening to now. It just didn't convert at all, and they just got lost. A, do you believe that women are naturally empathetic, like they say? No. Or do you think what I think, which is people conflate that with women being sympathetic and it's men? No, women are not empathetic or sympathetic. Okay, like what Ronan Man said in the videos I did last week. Like women are taught that they should be single. Or I'm sorry, not single, but women are taught they should be monogamous. When it's in their very nature to not be monogamous until they're just out of options, right? For the most part, it's in their. I would say it's more in their realm to be monogamous, but they know how to sell it because they know people who think they should be monogamous. I think it's the same thing with being sympathetic and empathetic. Women know that people think that they should be sympathetic and empathetic, but they're not. Not in the slightest. Again, unless it's okay. I'm gonna sum it up like this. Where's my battery? I'm at 18%. Remember? Okay. Did anybody see that South Park episode? Thank you, baby. Did anybody see that South Park episode where Cartman? I think it was a movie where Cartman wanted to. It was a Lizzo episode where Cartman wanted to lose weight, but he's too poor to afford the medication to lose weight. So, and that's where the quote, the saying comes from. Poor people get Lizzo. Lizzo is for poor people because they can't afford, liposuction and shit like that. So they got to listen to Lizzo to live with themselves. You know what I mean? Well, in that episode, it's typical Cartman. The very few times Cartman sells something as if wow, that's fucked up. Cartman really just wanted, he just wanted to lose weight, but he's fat as fuck and he can't do it, and he's down about it, right? But then when they would go into Cartman's brain and listen to why he actually wanted to lose weight, right? That was like, oh, that's typical Cartman. So for anybody who didn't see the movie, it wasn't a movie. It wasn't an episode, but it wasn't a movie. It was like a special or something. The reason why Cartman wanted to lose weight was he wanted to go to Pakistan or just anybody that he didn't like, right? Which is like black people, brown people, shit like that. Which is why I love Cartman because he admits it. He accepts himself. That's why I love Cartman. Cartman wanted to go to anybody he didn't like and make fun of them, right? So just to see the look on their face when they would go, yeah, but you're fat, but you're big. And they couldn't say anything back to him because he wasn't fat anymore. That was the only reason why Cartman wanted to make fun of motherfuckers. Just so he could make fun. I mean, that's the only reason why Cartman wanted to... Shh, baby, chill out, chill. That's the only reason why Cartman wanted to lose weight was because so he can go out and make fun of people so they couldn't say anything back to him about being fat. So he could just get away with it. But at the end of the episode, once he got on Lizzo, he finally accepted himself for being fat and flew to Pakistan anyway just so he can make fun of Pakistani people. Like, y'all dirty motherfuckers. Why y'all so dirty? Why y'all eat off the floor? And if he had lost the weight, they couldn't be like, yeah, well, you're fat, right? So that was the whole purpose behind that. In theory, if I explained it right or well at all, that is a theory behind why women do anything that is received well at all by society, right? Because they figure that somebody can come back on them about something or it might happen to them at some point. See, the reason is, The reason why women get so sensitive about aging and all that is because when every woman was young and attractive and all that, they looked at older women and went, ew, that's so gross. Ugh, and just disregard her as nothing. Every single woman has done that. They looked at an older woman, not even like an old woman, just an older woman with crow's feet or something like that, and went ew, and just went like, oh, she's nothing, right? Every girl, because she was once young and pretty too. And then what happens when she starts to get older? Now it's, oh, you can't talk about my age. Why not? See, the reason why women don't want you to talk about their age is because now they have to accept that now they're that fucking old or fat woman that they used to look at and be like, ew. That's them now. That is why women historic women do not want you to bring up their age. That's why. Thank you, baby. That's why women don't want you to talk about it. See, it's very rarely. It's like Cartman is essentially the embodiment of woman mentality. But the only difference is we can't just look inside a woman's brain, whereas we could look inside Cartman's brain, right? So you got to piece it together. But yeah, that Cartman episode was a great example. So it was the one where they were all losing weight. And so like the women, they broke down on like robbing places and all this shit just to get the drugs so they can stay skinny. And Cartman can never. Nah, Day. Thank you, baby. But yeah, that's what. But yeah, the only time any decency comes out is because she's just run out of options. She's hurt or something. Okay. See, this is why. Okay, look, you very rarely find women going out and donating to anybody. You very rarely find women who are going out there trying to genuinely give something to a community. You very rare. And here's the thing. And the off chances that you do, it's usually just because her job is watching her, or she thinks a rich man is watching her. Those are the only reasons why. It's never because she just wanted to go do it. It's Cartman shit. Cartman would do the same shit. Right? He's gonna be nice because he wants something. All of a sudden he's gonna be nice. He's gonna be trying to give away some shit to the homeless because he's always has an ulterior motive. It's never just to be good. Right? Cartman is never nice just to be nice. Right? And it's the same thing with women. It's the same thing. Women are never nice just to be nice. They don't know how to be. The vast majority of women don't know how to be nice. And I'm not saying this to hate women. This is a reality. All right. Now, a woman would say that I hate women, right? Because it's their only defense from speaking on reality, right? Is to just take it into imagination land. But no, this is the reality. Women, there's nothing about a woman's genetics that says that she wants to do anything nice strictly to do something nice. Right? She's doing it for her own reason, and 9 times out of 10, it's a selfish reason if you dive all the way down into it. So if you expose it, then you're just going to be evil, and she'll just find a way to just try to convince the people around you that you must hate women now. Like, no, I'm absolutely not saying I hate women at all. Women do stupid shit, but I don't hate women. This is just a reality that no woman can argue out of. Right? So now I must be some, woman hater and all this shit like that. How did you set up the threesome situation? No, that was in America. That was in Ohio, Kevin. The threesome situation, that was in Dayton, Ohio. That wasn't here. Oh, the one here. Oh, yeah. So the threesome situation here was with the friends I was telling you about earlier, with the girl I was talking about earlier. That was with her, and she would always bring down a friend with her. I didn't set that up. She did. So here's the other part about. So here's a weird part too. So like in a place like North America, right? If you're in the U.S., like a girl from like fucking like Kansas would do. There's always gonna be some girl in Kansas or like Ohio that would do anything to get with a guy in like L.A., right? Because the name L.A. You can sell the fact that you live in Los Angeles to a bitch in fucking Omaha, right? She's like, oh my god, well, my boyfriend lives in Los Angeles. You could sell you could get pussy off the fact that you have an address in New York City, and you mean in a poorer, in a relatively speaking, in a lower um, part of America. It's the same thing as It's the same thing as a passport bro thing, right? Same thing. It's just different countries now, right? But it's the same thing. A dude with an address in Manhattan could easily get pussy from a bitch in fucking Tennessee, just for the fact that his address is in Manhattan. Especially if you know the prices of what Manhattan goes for, right? You can get pussy just because you have an address in Miami from a bitch in fucking in Oklahoma, just for the fact that you have that address, right? Now it's the same thing. It's always this dynamic is always the same thing. It's just now they've attached the word passport bro and act like that's something vastly different, when it's not. It's the same shit, right? Same thing. Women want men that are at least 2 steps higher than them. Um. So yeah. So the weird dynamic is with that friend I'm talking about. Since I live in Prague, I can sell the fact. Okay, the fact that my address is in Prague sells that to some woman who lives in some village somewhere, 50 miles out, right? Because Prague to a Czech person is like New York City to an American, right? Like the people outside of Prague, most of them can't even dream of living in a place like this, just financially speaking, right? So, and I did want to touch on this. So there was a big misunderstanding. It's a half truth, and you have to watch Europe with these half truths. The average wages of Czech Republic. So I remember a while back I was looking at average wages. They were saying that they were like $2,000 a month. So I found out the reality of that. The reality of it is, yes, some of the average wages did go up, but the taxes went up. So the typical person is making about what I said before. And these are the half truths about Europe that Americans don't have access to. So they'll just see the average wage is $2,000 in Czech Republic and go off of that, which in theory it is, but after taxes, they're taking out far more taxes than you pay in North America, right? So in reality, they're still making $1,000, $1,200, maybe $1,300 a month. Like most average Czechs are probably making about $1,100 a month, $1,200 a month after taxes. Now the wages technically went up, but that's just essentially just the government just taking all that money right back from them. So it's a half truth. But yeah. So back to the Prague situation. Prague is essentially their New York City. So the fact that I live in Prague can be a pussy getter to some bitch living in fucking Decin or something like that, right? Some smaller town, smaller city. Because some girl out there is gonna be like, oh yes, I dream of the city life and I'll do anything to get out there, kind of thing, right? So it's always that situation is always there. It's the same thing as the passport bro scenario. The only thing is Western women are just jealous. Western women just want what the men who they consider lesser to hurt. That's the only difference, right? These women in North America or the UK, they just want the Western men that were hurt to stay hurt. That's because those same women in America or the UK who are claiming that they don't like passport bros, they're going off and chasing after the same quality of man, the same relative quality of man that the women in the poor countries are doing. They're doing the same shit. Thank you, baby. So I'm gonna get off here because I'm gonna take him outside for a walk real fast because I know he's probably bored. You ain't lying. I'm from Baltimore. When I came to North Carolina for college, them women loved my accent and would love me for it. Oh yeah. 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 The address is what sells you. Because it's just how women are, dude. It's just the woman dynamic. Okay, no woman wants to date herself in quality, right? No woman wants to date. If a woman wants to date herself, it's because the world hurt her in some kind of way. No woman, ask any woman, ask your mother, ask your aunt, ask your sister, ask your girlfriend, ask your wife. Just like this, would you date yourself, knowing where you work at, how you live, what you eat, what you drink? Would you ask any woman in your life? I'm gonna leave you with this because I'm gonna take him out for a walk before it gets too dark. Ask any woman in your life to prove my point. Ask any woman in your life, would she date a man who worked the exact same job she had, ate the same food she had the same quality clothes, the same quality of living that she had? Would she genuinely be happy with a man that is her exact equivalent? Try it. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. And then if anybody does it, let me know. If the same or something different happen. One, she's going to get mad. Right? Usually she's going to get mad because she doesn't like herself. She's mad because she doesn't like herself. So now she has to try to find a reason to get mad at you for bringing it to her attention that she doesn't like herself because she's a piece of shit. Right? Two, she's going to try to pretend that she totally would, and have a horrible fake smile while she does it, while she says it. Or three, she's going to keep asking you, well, why'd you ask me that? To try to get the attention back off of her. Because that brutal reality is getting ready to come out. Right? It's all passport bro shit. The entire dating market is passport bro shit. The only difference is in North America, you don't need a passport. And, the only reason is you don't need a passport to go from one rich neighborhood to a poor neighborhood. If you need a passport to go from a rich neighborhood to a poor neighborhood, then it would officially be all passport bro shit. Because that's the only way women are really going to... That's the path that woman goes. Right? She doesn't go the path of equality. Like I said, as long as women can succeed as women, she doesn't care about the right to vote. She don't care about starving children. She don't care about her right to drive, her right to speak, none of that. If she's winning as a woman, she don't care how she doesn't care how to spell feminism. She don't care. You think Dua Lipa probably knows how to spell it because she's got to sell tickets, but you think Ivanka Trump knows how to spell feminism? You think Melania Trump knows how to spell feminism? I'd ask her how to spell. She'd be like, hey, Melania, how you spell feminism? She'd be like, FIEMZM. Is that right? She gonna know how to spell that shit, right? Now ask some bitch who's like fucking up and failing how to spell feminism. No, she gonna be capital FEMNISM. It originated in Latin, in the Latin language in the early 1600s. It was originally stated. She gonna know all this shit. Feminism. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here, man. I'm gonna take him out for a walk, like I'm talking about a dog, but I'm gonna take him out to do something and put him to bed. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Y'all have a good day, eat a night, and peace out.